Hello, everyone, and welcome back to IndieLand. We're raising money for dementia research in honor of my late mom, who passed away only a few years ago. This year, every year is in honor of her and helping those out there who are affected by dementia. But today, we're focusing on indie games as we always do. And today is a huge honor for me and the team, and I can't thank you guys enough for joining us. Today, we have the crew from Evening Star here. We got Hunter, Claire, and Justin, and the rest of the team is off camera. You can't see them.
They're over there.
But
Thanks so much for having us, Gerard.
Absolutely. You guys have been working on a very, very special game that a lot of folks have been excited to see and hear more about. Hunter, take it away, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. So the game that we're showing off today is called Penny's Big Breakaway. And it is the debut title from our studio, Evening Star. Evening Star was founded in 2018 by some of the team members who made Sonic Mania, myself included. And, we've been spending a while in the dark developing new tech and coming up with some original, fresh ideas. And today is kind of our big debut of finally getting the chance to show off some gameplay today. So
excellent.
We're super stoked.
Jump on in. We'll ask questions and take it away. Show us. I'm so excited.
All right. So this is the first level. This is Penny's hometown of Vanillatown. And then we got Penny right here. She's our plucky yet unlucky yotagonist. And I don't know. Take what you will from your impressions behind her design, but I'm going to go over here really quick.
It looks so pretty.
So yeah, just really quick, I want to show off some of the moves that Penny can do. So the whole idea is that Penny is partners with Yo-Yo. And so, of course, you can throw your Yo-Yo, but you can also throw it in all kinds of different directions. So you can use either the X button or the right analog stick to throw your Yo-Yo. And so, you can move around in different directions and throw your Yo-Yo while you're doing that. And then if you throw your Yo-Yo out and you hold it in place, then you'll sleep your Yo-Yo, and you can kind of walk around it. You can jump on top.
The dog?
You can, well, a little bit. So you can ride on the Yo-Yo, and so the idea is similar to walking the dog. So you start off by throwing it on the ground, but then you can ride on it like a Segway scooter. I know. And then let's see what else we have. If you double tap jump, then you can do a quick dash. And then if you jump and hold the swing while you're in the air, then Penny will swing from the Yo-Yo. So it'll lock in place wherever the Yo-Yo sleeps. So then you can take that. That's kind of your basic arsenal. There's also a whirl move. So I'm whirling the right analog stick here. You can change directions. You can also just 360 the left stick and press X button to start that way too.
What a cool detail. You guys have Penny's face in the corner reacting to her movement.
Oh, yeah. So Tom Pry, our art director, he's like really big into character design and stuff. And he did all these beautiful expressive animations for Penny. And for the longest time, when you're doing a 3D game, then you're just kind of running around and the camera's behind the character's head.
Yeah.
So I was like, why don't we just add a little thing in the corner to like always show you what Penny's doing? But yeah, I mean, once you get going in the level, you can start chaining together different moves. So I can do a quick dash, I can do a swing, and it carries your momentum through all these different moves. And you also see like a combo gauge popping up on the side. So that's kind of, I would say, inspired by games like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater or also maybe Devil May Cry or something like that. As long as you are up in the air or doing yo-yo tricks, then your combo meter will increase. And there's definitely like a score attack element to playing through the game and trying to rack up score with the combos that you're doing.
Wow, that's so cool.
The trampoline is pretty fun because, the bounce height is affected by your input velocity. And so you bounce higher and higher as you jump on it.
So the more you build your combo, does your momentum also goes up in terms of gravity, or is that just a cool flair thing?
So the momentum is always determined by, your movement speed inside of the world. And the cool thing about the yo-yo moveset is that you can redirect the momentum in different directions. This was kind of a big idea behind Penny's moveset. It was one of the big Oh, there was a sound that
So
happened.
that's the donations. You'll
Oh,
hear that,
okay.
you'll hear that periodically. Thank you, App Steve, for your donation. I appreciate you.
When we were originally concepting the moveset with the yo-yo, there was one of our co-founders, Christian Whitehead, he's kind of the creative director of this game, and me and him, we always wanted to have this idea of like being able to redirect your momentum in different directions, and so that's kind of the reason that we have the swing move the way that it does, so you can dash and then swing and I want to go that direction now. So there's a lot of freeform expressivity in the moveset with Penny. I'm going to rewind a little bit really quick. Here, I'm going to restart this level.
What came first, the traversal mechanic or the yo-yo?
The yo-yo came first, and so the yo-yo idea was interesting because it was always like one of those nascent ideas that we had creatively at the studio, where it wasn't anything more than like, oh, what if there was a game and you had a yo-yo and you can do different stuff with your yo-yo, because it's the way that it goes out and comes back, and then also you can do different tricks with it. It was always one of those ideas of there would be a lot of possibility with this kind of idea in a gameplay sense. And so from there, we were concepting, different things that we could do when making a new platformer game. And this idea of a yo-yo just kept coming back and coming back. And so, from there, we kind of got the idea of doing the momentum-based stuff, drawing upon some of our previous experience. So it kind of played into each other very well.
We have a question in the chat. People have been saying this looks like a long-lost Sega Saturn game. What inspired this game?
I think, Claire, do you want to speak to that a little bit? I mean, I think the art style is a big part of it, and so I think we could talk about the art style a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely inspired by, the art of old platformers, and I think you'll find that a lot in, the design of Penny and, her very mascot-esque silhouette, but a really big motivation and inspiration behind this game is the Bauhaus movement. It's an art movement / school of design that has a lot of geometric shapes, primary colors, and that fit very well into this because a lot of the shapes you find in Bauhaus, like, quarter pipe, half pipe, arches, they work really well with, Penny's moveset, so you can, ride the yo-yo down like a quarter pipe and turn it into a cool trick, and it just, we felt the movement gave the game just its look, and it gave it a lot of personality.
Yeah, I think too, a lot of us at Evening Star are very inspired by 90s and 2000s era games. We love Dreamcast stuff, GameCube stuff, Sega Saturn stuff too. And so we tried to kind of take some of that design vocabulary and adapt it to a more modern sense of, this is still a very modern and new game, and it's a fresh character design, but it's definitely informed by some of people's favorite games of yesteryear, I'd say.
What are some of the challenges of creating a new character? Like you said, mascot character there, but what are the challenges of creating one that's going to stand out, but also still be modern, but also inspired by the past?
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough. I think when we were first coming up with character designs for the game, we had everybody at the studio we had this really fun day where we all gave a presentation on, what are our 3 favorite fictional characters, and then we all kind of gravitated towards certain ones, and then we deconstructed, oh, hey, this character, these characters have these kind of common traits, and I want to talk about the penguins here in a second because I'm in a pretty brutal struggle. But so we sort of came up with a bunch of different traits that we all liked, and we knew that we wanted to kind of create a character that was cute but cool and struck that nice middle ground. But it was also a lot of we went through a lot of major iterations of the character design before we settled on Penny's current look. But yeah, the penguins. So I'm being chased around by a horde of crazy penguins right now.
As you do.
As one does.
Yeah.
And so the story behind why Penny is on the run from penguins is that the penguins are actually the Emperor's army. So you can imagine that, anytime you got a problem, you just stick a bunch of penguins after people and they'll solve it for you. So that's kind of Eddie's idea of how to take care of things. And at the start of the game, Penny goes through an audition, and through an unfortunate series of events, Eddie ends up embarrassed, and he blames Penny for that, and so he sicks the penguins after Penny. And so that's the inciting event. And then the fun part about the penguins is, if it's just one penguin after you, one penguin can't take you out. You have to get 5 penguins clinging onto you at the same time in order to be sent back to the checkpoint. But then, as they gang up, then they become much more threatening. And so we wanted to, in a 3D platformer, we didn't want to have types of enemies that required a lot of precision, because I don't know if you've played other platformer games, but ones where you have to jump on top of a specific enemy in 3D space, it can be tough for some players.
Yeah.
So we wanted to come up with a type of major enemy that was a little bit more blobby in a sense, or one where you have a lot of characters around you, and then you see how if I just throw the yo-yo at the penguins, then it doesn't really do that much. But if I use some of the other moves, then it sends them flying back and they hit the wall, or I can kick them and they fly all over the place.
They'll stick to the wall if you fling them at the wall too.
Yeah.
Yes. So the cool question with the penguins: are they constantly spawning when you're in that particular area, or are you just defeating them and new ones are showing up?
So it's not that you're defeating them.
You're knocking them back.
You're knocking them back,
Yeah.
and they get stunned for a while. But if, say, watch, I can send this guy on the wall, and then he's stuck there for a little bit, but now he's going to wiggle off the wall here in a second, and then he'll jump back off the wall and then come back into the fray. And so when you have that multiplied times, 20, 30 penguins, then you get kind of a cycling in and out. And then the idea is, you can't permanently get rid of the penguins. And so, if they come up, you need to get away from them.
Yeah.
But you have ways that you can fight back and kind of reduce the pressure that's on you. These things over here are called showpieces, and they're basically like little challenge coins that are placed about in the level, so you can, have additional elements of completion that you can do in each level. There's
Which
3.
I know nothing about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you've never
not
completed
like
a
we
game
have
in
any
life.
completionists here or
Yeah.
anything. And then I'm also doing a dilemma here, and so dilemmas are kind of little side quests that you can do for the dilemmas that live in the world, or for the denizens that live in the world. And then the goal is that at the end of each level, Penny does a busker performance with her yo-yo, doing a bunch of yo-yo tricks. And the more dilemmas that you complete while you're traversing the level, the more denizens show up at the end for your performance, and so you get more bonuses and stuff like that. Because a core theme is, Penny trying to make her way in the world as a performer, and she's trying to build her following and her audience and stuff like that.
I'm gonna read a quick donation. Mikolash, host of the Nightmare, donated $2 and said, "Oh, majestic! A streamer is a streamer, even in a dream."
Cat donate.
Thank you for the $200 donation.
$200 is pretty good.
Yeah, that's huge. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
So the thing, I keep seeing it in chat, and I don't know how to describe it because I think they're right. You guys are, for lack of a better term, showing off full chest your style. Like, this is so clean. It looks so beautiful. Like, how important is it for you guys to unify your art style so much through more than anything?
Oh yeah, I mean it's pretty huge for us. I think that Evening Star, what is unique about us as a studio is that we're totally full stack, and so we have our own custom engine, and we're doing totally original IP. We're trying to come up with an original art style, and we're trying to figure out an art style that we can execute given all of those constraints.
Yeah.
This art style in particular, it's very, it looks very like there's a lot going on with the lighting, for example, but there's definitely a lot of sleight of hand, and if you were to pop it under the hood, it's kind of deceivingly simple, I would say.
Sure.
But it was a big part of the visual look and development. I don't know, Claire, you've had a lot of experience with putting together art assets and stuff for the game, and so like us doing the gradient mapping and stuff like that. How's that experience been?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, working with our own engine has definitely been, a different experience, but a lot of the tools that are included with the engine, make it possible to accomplish this, like you said, deceivingly complex art style, but there's actually, a lot of procedural generation that goes into it. We're able to, use our, like you said, the gradient mapping system to get all those, like, beautiful colors and those, like, shadows and really create a unified look. And I feel like it really streamlines the process compared to, if we didn't have these tools.
And so, yeah, I just went through the busker bonus here. And then when you get to the end of the stage, you get superlatives based on your performance in the level. As I said, there's kind of a score attack element to the game. So yeah, that was the first time through that level at a leisurely pace.
Yeah.
But another big part of this game is, getting people who are into speed running into the game, or people who want a little bit more of a high skill ceiling to the game. And so, I played it pretty leisurely there, but then if we just kind of put things all together, I'm going to try to go through pretty quick.
Yeah, do your thing. So yeah, Justin, what is your role in terms of this project? Because I feel like I'm getting a vibe that you guys as a team are so like unified, but also delegating tasks to work together. But what is your role in the project?
Well, on paper, I'm a gameplay programmer, but just sort of the nature of that we have all these different roles to achieve in this game. End up just doing some other various random things. So you can see the UI on the screen. That's a collaboration between me and our director Tom, who came up with these ideas and I implement them in. But also, gameplay, tweaking other things. You see Penny interact with these gimmicks, and I make sure that when you hit that button, so that's one of the cool things that I like to do.
Must be tricky, like in a game like this where it's designed around just making the most creative and unexpected interactions, to have people coming up and telling you constantly, oh, we need Penny to react in this way. Is it like constantly challenging you? Do you enjoy that, or are you just like, can we just have a run just for a little bit, please?
No, it's absolutely fun because it's challenging that we have these new, fresh ideas, and you have it so you can interact with the player too. It's challenging, obviously, because there's a lot of new things that are coming up and whatnot, but I feel like it really does give this game an identity when you have these fresh ideas that are actually implemented.
Yeah, Justin's done a lot of our game object programming and various things that do have to interact with the yo-yo, and that's definitely been its own interesting adventure of figuring out what works and what doesn't with this system, where there's you always have one character, but then there's this other object that you're kind of constantly, sometimes Penny's moving around the yo-yo, other times the yo-yo's moving around Penny. And so there's a lot of balancing possibilities and solving for, places where unexpected things happen.
Absolutely. I mean, I've worked on 3D platformers before, but this one is definitely a really fun one to work on.
I'm going to do the busker bonus one more time, and then we're going to move on to the next level. Yeah, no flubs here.
I believe.
But yeah, no, this is our first time really showing off the game, and it's cool to see everybody's reactions and stuff like that. We've been working on it for, I don't know, I think by the time we get to the end, it'll be around 3 years or so. So yeah, it's a long time coming.
What games are you kind of like looking at and going, for inspiration? I mean, obviously you have history in 3D platformers, but it seems very unconventional, especially the movement stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you playing or looking at or drawing from to both give the game a unique identity, but also have a kind of touch point to know, like, this is how we kind of want it to feel, such like this?
Yeah, so some of the biggest touch points for the game in terms of design, we were super inspired by Super Mario 3D World. Another recent release was Kirby and the Forgotten Land. You'll notice that, I'm moving with the left stick and I'm throwing the yo-yo with the right stick, so that doesn't really leave a lot of room on the controller for camera manipulation. You can actually tilt the camera a little bit and as sort of an assist with the D-pad, but in a large part, the camera is sort of on a track, as you go through the level. And so that was a big part of like, okay, well, we played a lot of platformers where you have to spend a lot of time sort of managing the camera, and then you get through a section, and then you kind of don't know where to go next, and then you have to, look around, look up, and fish for, okay, this is the next direction. And so we always wanted the player to feel like where the next place you need to go is. And so as you go through the level, the camera is kind of turning to hint to where you need to go next. And so that was, one of the big first parts is we wanted to do sort of a fixed camera 3D platformer instead of a, truly like open 360 sort of camera style. And then, I don't know how familiar everybody is with the game Ape Escape, but that game is a really great example of dual analog controls. It was probably one of the biggest, pioneers in that control style. We really loved how that game lets you feel powerful with, being flexible in 3D space by doing the twin stick kind of control style. And so we experimented with doing that with the yo-yo. And then, early experiments ended up being pretty successful. The swing was actually something that we didn't have that idea at first, but we were playing around with the controls and stuff like that, and then we did it as a debug thing of like, just let you do it anywhere instead of on specific latch points or something like that. And then it was fun, so we just kept it.
A lot of the game was just sort of, this is a really fun idea. Let's try this out.
Yeah.
Sort of like jazz. We call it jazz platforming.
It really reminds me of Bionic Commando, which I don't know if people. It's got a very Bionic Commando style, like you latch on anywhere.
With the arm.
And and that kind of stuff. And momentum in that game is really fun. So it's been a lot.
Yeah. Also, another game that you might not think of would be like Just Cause or something. How you can zip line and then glide and stuff. Capturing that sense of flowing and kind of, I don't know, we call it dribbling, where you're sort of moving through and you have stuff to do, and you're just kind of like caught in the flow of moving through the environment. That's really what we wanted to capture with the core yo-yo moveset. But then also, the penguins, for example, they almost have elements of Left 4 Dead or Dead Rising or something, like a zombie apocalypse kind of game where there's like a big mob that's trying to kind of like overtake you.
Yeah.
And then, you have the Tony Hawk, Devil May Cry kind of combo system in there. And so there's definitely a pretty wide range of influences that we feel went into this game.
I definitely feel like there's a little bit of Donkey Kong Country too. Just
oh yeah.
Ride on
Let's go. Yes.
Jump in midair. That one feels good.
Oh, I got captured.
These kind of platformers generally have like two ways where they go, where it's like, the more you play, the more abilities you unlock. But like the Nintendo approach is usually like, we just test your core abilities in different ways. What kind of approach is this? Are we gonna get a powered up yo-yo, or is it just a case of like making the platforming a little trickier and building the world around it?
Yeah, I'm very glad you asked that. I think one of the core tenets of our design is that you have all of your abilities available to you right at the beginning. And then what is really tested is your kind of mastery over the abilities and being able to combine them in different ways. I think another thing that's really unique about this game is that we don't really use very many invisible walls at all. Pretty much if you can see it, you can go there. And we kind of reward the player for taking unconventional ways to get through the level.
Well, and also, we haven't really talked about it much, but one way that, you can kind of change up the gameplay as you get better at it is we have the two control schemes. We have the simple one, which is using one stick, but then our pro mode actually uses both sticks to navigate. So you can, throw the yo-yo using the buttons, or if, you're a little more experienced with it, you can use both sticks. I prefer the simple mode personally, just because I feel like it suits me best, but I know, Hunter is definitely more of a pro gamer than me, so I know he's rocking the dual sticks.
Oh, I'm rocking the dual sticks like a pro gamer does, you know me. Yeah, but what we found was some players get a little bit overwhelmed at unconventional control schemes. And so we have the simple mode, which is kind of a more traditional A button is jump, X button is throw, B button is ride, and then you just have left stick moving around. And so that is a control mode that is going to, I think, be good for people who are more familiar with other platformer games, and then as you get comfortable with that and the just the feeling of moving the character through the world, then you can switch to the pro mode and kind of do more crazy combos and stuff.
I wanted to ask again real quick, because you said there's not really any invisible walls. That just makes me think, or makes me want to, just thinking about speedrunning the game, momentum and movement. I mean, it's a dumb question, but I'm just curious because there's no invisible walls. How high can Penny go? Can they go infinitely higher? Can they just skip the stage? Because you see all the background fidelity and you're like, oh, I'm gonna skip all that and just get to the end. Like I want to see how fast you can go. Well, what's the height range of the momentum with the yo-yo?
Yeah, that's a great question too. So one of the design points when we were coming up with Penny's moveset is we wanted to make ascending in height be something that was somewhat difficult to achieve and something that is rewarded when you finally get there. And so you'll notice that when you're running around, actually one of the moves I forgot to show off is the backflip move. So the backflip is just your traditional double jump, but in a lot of other games the double jump is just as effective as your initial jump, and you can gain a lot of height by just doing a double jump. So you'll notice that when I do the double jump, I'm not going very much higher at all. But it can also be used to stop your momentum. So if I'm moving horizontally, and then I can use the backflip to stop my horizontal momentum in midair. But going to that point, it's difficult to gain height, but then you can use the yo-yo move, so I can dash into a swing, and then I can go up a little bit from that.
Yeah.
And then there's also a risk-reward element, so where if you say, for example, you are falling from a great height, and then you do a swing, then you have a lot of velocity going into that swing, and you can redirect that momentum to get a big launch. And so I can, jump off the cliff here, and then do that, something like that. And so you'll see, I'll try to do some jump over some bigger gaps here in a little bit, so I can demonstrate that behavior a little bit better. But that's the general idea, is that it's hard to gain altitude, but there are ways you can do it by using the yo-yo tricks and kind of tricking off of the environment. And so that's kind of the core challenge of traversal.
So Justin, I have a question for you. If, let's say, Christian comes to you with a really crazy idea, do you ever have the moment of like, how the hell am I going to do what he brought me to do in terms of the imagination and scope? Because these ideas are all so unique and different. I'm not the creative person that would come up with that. Like, how do you go about being like, and Penny must do this to do that, like from a programmer's perspective?
Well, I think the fun thing about that is that, the ideas aren't necessarily set in stone. It's, we want this to happen, right?
Yeah.
And they entrust me to do, like, how is that going to happen? And so being able to actually, like, oh, I want to make her do it in this sort of way, being creative with it, I think it really lends it to, like, showing up in the game that way.
Yeah.
I'm going to swap levels here. So we were just in Vanillatown, and now we're going to go to World's Edge. So World's Edge is, I won't get too into the lore here, but it's a space level. And this is kind of a mid-game sort of level, and so the difficulty is a little bit higher here than it was in Vanillatown. And you are here for an important reason, but that will have to be unveiled when you play the game, because I don't want to spoil the story for anybody. But yeah, this is a library in space that's kind of like at the edge of Macaroon, which is, you saw the world map, it was sort of a macaroon-shaped world.
Yeah.
And if you go to the very edge of it, then you get to World's Edge. So that's where we're at right now.
I was actually going to ask about that. How did you come up with and settle upon that style of overworld? Because obviously 3D platformers have done it all. So why did you think that was the way you wanted to do it? That one that you got around.
Yeah, so originally we just wanted to do a very, very old school style. You just go straight through the game and you're just going level to level. But then, as we continue to develop the levels and developing the narrative, we wanted to give the player additional context of where all these events were happening, of course. And so, we came up with the idea of doing a world map And then the idea of the world being a macaroon shape. Macaroon's kind of shaped like a yo-yo, and so I don't know. It's not that imaginative, but it was kind of like, oh, this kind of looks like this, and so we picked it, and the world's called Macaroon now.
And I think the world being shaped like a macaroon fits. I don't think we've seen them yet, but fits into. We have some kind of food theming with. I think we'll see some power-ups that we have. I think if you watch the Nintendo Direct, you see that we're flying through, and that's one of the power-ups we have, and they're food themed because Yo-Yo is very hungry. And
yeah, the yo-yo's kind of like a excited puppy, and so it just sees a snack and it wants a snack. And who are you to deny a puppy a treat? And so yeah, the yo-yo will just kind of cravingly eat whatever food is available.
Can we get like interactions with Yo-Yo as a character?
Yeah, so there's a lot of we have a combination of 3D cutscenes and animated cutscenes. We had Mariel Cartwright and Jonathan Kim come in from Future Club to help us out with those. And so you get to see a lot of cute interactions between Penny and Yo-Yo, and those sorts of comic mischief, as one might call it.
Their relationship definitely also develops throughout the game, and she kind of, finds herself and figures out what's going on the run, because Yo-Yo, was the one who ultimately caused Penny to go on the run, but they're still buds.
But she doesn't think, it's really Yo-Yo's fault, because he didn't know what was going on.
Exactly, he's a cute puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to say, chat got very excited at the prospect of lore.
Oh, there's lore. Don't you worry. We got plenty of lore where this came from.
Not to ask the minutia of like how many stages, but just in you going quickly through the menu, there's a lot. I just quickly saw through. No number needed, but how many stages or what's kind of the overall intent of the scope? Because I saw a lot. I saw a lot in that one screenshot. I know someone's going through it and trying to count.
I don't think I went all the way to the end of the list, and so I mean, it could be any number, Gerard.
Yeah.
We can start picking numbers in the chat.
Yeah.
What's your favorite number, chat? Let us know. No, there's 11. There's 11 worlds.
Okay.
And then there's also bonus worlds that you can do.
Ooh.
So as you unlock the showpieces, or as you find them in the map, you can use the showpieces to purchase bonus levels from the world map as well. Overshot it.
Brad.
We got some good numbers in the chat.
Trying to. How many?
1,000 plus. I like 1,000 plus. That's a pretty big range. How many numbers are above 1,000?
Not very many. I feel like 1,000 is the cap.
Yeah, that's kind of the cap.
Yeah.
How are we doing on time? We still got...
You got another 18 minutes.
Oh, another 18 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we need to show off some power-ups. Okay, I can go crazy.
Yeah.
I'm encouraged to go crazy. I'm going to go back to Vanillatown. We're going to show you some power-ups. I'm being thrown some like umpire pitching signals or something. I'm not a baseball player. Okay, it's a slider next time. Okay, this level you're gonna see some hammer action. So Penny can pick up tools with the yo-yo. I'm carrying a hammer right now. She's very delicately balancing it in her hand. Look how talented she is. But because I have a hammer, I can just whack this breakable block here. Right down. And I got another hammer here. There's a bowling ball somewhere.
I think it's a bit later in the
Yeah,
level.
we're almost there. We're almost there. There's these seesaws that are pretty fun. These are just part of the jazz standards of platforming, as we call it. We have all kinds of objects in the game that are in every other platforming game that you've played in your whole life. But they're there because you love them, and you gotta have them. So we give the people what they want.
And ours are special.
They are special. They're red and blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got the bowling burger. So the bowling burger turns your yo-yo into big old bowling ball, and you can just wreak absolute havoc when the yo-yo's a bowling ball. Yep. And then you can also bowl through walls. Oh, I ran out.
Oh,
Ran out.
You could have hammered down through there, huh?
Yep. So that's a bonus that you can get, but I was too slow because I was talking too much. I'm always running my mouth and getting myself into trouble.
Yeah, and we also we talked about the dilemmas a bit earlier, but one of my personal favorite parts of the game are the denizens. So they're the citizens of Macaroon, and you'll see them in all the levels, and each of them will have a little voice line, and it's a nice piece of world building, and they're very funny if you interact with them.
Yeah, our writer Meredith Alden did a really great job coming up with all these clever non sequiturs. I'm in the mood for a burger. Have you seen any lying around? I always eat burgers that I see lying around. And now I have a dilemma where I need to clear all the junk out of the road, and so I've got a bowling burger. And I can bowl through all this.
I love the name Bowling Burger.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it on a menu somewhere here in Culver City. It's probably got some garlic aioli on there. I'm trying to make Brad laugh as much as I can because he's trying to stay silent over there, and I'm gonna crack him before we're done.
For your guys' info, the mics are pretty sensitive to us, so you don't have to worry about being quiet, but we appreciate it.
Yeah, let those laughs rip over there. This is a challenge where I have to grab all the soda cans as fast as I can. I didn't get it in time.
So this is a very dumb, basic softball question, just because I'm always curious. For each of you individually, what is your favorite part about working on Penny?
I think that my favorite part might have been the collaboration we did with the soundtrack, because the soundtrack is just super crazy, and I think people aren't totally ready to hear what the Penny soundtrack sounds like. We have T. Lopes as the lead composer.
The legend.
The one and only.
Yeah.
And then we also brought in a new composer, Sean Bialo, otherwise known as Cosmic Jim. And I don't know if you're familiar with Donut Dodo, but he did the soundtrack for that game. And yeah, it's pretty high energy, goes a lot of places. There's a lot of different genres and influences that we're pulling into the soundtrack. So it was a really cool experience coming up with that. And I think leading up to release, we're probably going to get to show off some pieces of the soundtrack, so stay tuned. I don't know, how about you, Claire?
I mean, I'm sure this is kind of seems typical answer for an artist, but I mean, I love the art style of the game. It was so much fun to work on. I think it's as much fun to look at as it is to work on. I like that in several of the levels, we kind of took the classic platformer levels. You have to have a snow level, you have to have a desert level, and we have those, but we kind of put our own spin on them. Like in the Nintendo Direct, we showed the desert world, but you'll see that in our desert, the sand is actually blue because it's made of cobalt and it conducts electricity, so their power plant is there. Or like our snow level, which I think we're going to show.
Yeah, we'll go there next.
Penguinville is, we still have our snow, but it's not like typical alpine town. It's very colorful. It has an absolute banger of a soundtrack for it. My favorite track in the game, personally. So yeah, I just love the, fun twist that the art style in this game puts on, classic platformers.
And just for me, I just, gameplay programmer. Obviously, I'm going to say gameplay.
Gameplay is an important part of every game.
You need to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to play the game, though? No. But, it's very inspired and, getting to bring in that inspiration from all the games that I've played. Because I am a gamer. We play games.
We're all gamers here. It's okay.
Well, but getting to just putting that personal touch is probably one of my favorite things.
Yo, shout outs to T. Lopes in the chat. We love you, T.
T. Lopes himself is in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
I've never gotten a chance to chat with T. Lopes. This is the greatest day of my life.
The legend himself.
So we're doing the classic Kirby's Adventure Cannon Wick setup. Gotta love it.
It's so satisfying.
Yeah.
Dude,
But it's a cannon in space, Gerard.
Yes,
They don't always have those.
it's true. I was gonna ask, the lock-on mechanic is so interesting because I feel like it's a bit of like not a double entendre. It's obviously designed to like show you, hey, you can lock onto this, but just how you guys have positioned the camera, I noticed you guys have been using it kind of as an indicator as to where to possibly go. Sometimes, depending on the camera angle. What was kind of your guys' design philosophies when it comes to locking on with the yo-yo? Because it just seems so. Every time I see the cursor pop up, I'm like, I want to grab the.
I want to hit it.
Every time I want to grab it.
Yeah, so the lock-on mechanic evolved pretty organically through the development process. We actually didn't have it at first. But then we came into an issue where it was hard to tell what things can you interact with the yo-yo and what things can't you. And then so that, naturally lends itself to, well, I guess we should show you some kind of indicator to indicate it. But then that fed itself into, okay, well, when, if there's multiple things around, then where should the indicator show up? And so it'll always show up at a, something that the nearest object that you can interact with, that's where the indicator will pop up. And then if it's kind of loose, where all the pieces are far away, and that means that it's out of range for your yo-yo to hit it.
Yeah.
But then you see when it gets closer, the reticle kind of tightens in, and that means it's in range for you to hit it. And so there's a little bit of bias if you have if the indicator is appearing and you use the forward throw, it'll bias the throw direction towards the indicator. And so there's a little bit of homing. It's mainly like a visual supporter, and then we also do some kind of collision stuff under the hood to make sure that you're hitting the thing that you're trying to hit when you throw the yo-yo at it.
Yeah, it's definitely just designed so that you don't have to really think much about like, can I really hit this? You can focus on your performance and all the cool tricks you want to do. And it's honestly really cool that we got it in.
Yeah, it's something that like as you play the game, you get a bit of a second sense of like, oh, okay, I can just read that as data as I'm flying through the level at a high speed, and then it just becomes second nature to respond to the indicator.
We saw Penny take a hit there. What's the kind of system for dying and returning lives, etc., and game overs?
Yeah, sure. I'm glad you asked that. So we took a little bit of a different approach than a lot of platformers. So, it's pretty typical in a platformer that you have hit points, and then if you fall off the ledge, then you just die and you lose all your hit points and you lose a life. So we don't have a life system in this game. If I jump off the ledge, then that's called a dropout, and that's basically the same as if I were to get, pelted by one of the asteroids up here. And so one of our ideas behind that is in a 3D platformer, there's a lot of challenge put on precision and, making sure that you're actually walking on the platform that you're trying to traverse. And so to that extent, since we are challenging the precision of landing on the platform so much, it shouldn't be something that is severely punishing if you just mess it up one time. And so we kind of reduced the impact of falling off the cliff to make it, the same impact as if I were to just get hit by something. And then when you lose all of your lives, here, I'll do it. We call the hit points gusto, by the way. And then if you lose all of your gusto, then you have the opportunity to continue from the checkpoint or restart from the beginning. If you continue from the checkpoint, then you'll get, I think it's like 10,000 docked from your score. But if you restart from the beginning, then everything just resets to 0.
Yeah.
Since there's a major score attack element in the game, you're not going to have an easy time getting the actual, bonuses and all that stuff if you just continue from the checkpoint and get the score dock. And so for people who really want to clear the game and unlock everything you can unlock, you want to always kind of do it in one shot. But then for people who, we don't want to punish people who are just kind of trying to get through the game, or if you're playing through the first time, you're stuck on a part, we don't want to be like overly punishing for players who are just trying to play through that way. So you can easily continue from the checkpoint like that too.
Yeah, one of the messages I saw in chat was that, it would be really frustrating to keep getting caught on a specific trap over and over again. And so I think part of the gusto system is to make sure that that's not something that is really frustrating the players, and that, if you do keep getting caught on a trap, you can, you don't necessarily have to go back to the beginning every time. You can just go back to the checkpoint and continue through the game. Or, like Hunter said, if you're really dedicated to that score, you can try and start over again.
How important is I mean, as a completionist myself, collecting all of the collectibles, how important is it to the overall aspect of completing the game, right? Obviously, you've got, we've seen several times you've got the kind of the 3 quests that get the collectible coins. How important is it to the overall scope of the game? Because obviously it's a platformer, you're going to collect stuff, but I guess what I'm saying is how is it important for you guys for the collectible aspect, for your guys' design philosophies?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the completionist aspect of the game, we really wanted to give players a reason to achieve mastery of this moveset because we spent a long time just drilling into what makes it fun to move around in this world, what makes it fun to be Penny and perform as this, yo-yo performer. And so we really wanted to be able to have opportunities to push players to do things that if you were just, traversing through the level and trying to get from point A to point B, you wouldn't necessarily do that stuff. Like you wouldn't necessarily go collect all the soda cans or what have you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we wanted to make sure that the core playthrough experience was very I just want to blast through this level and get through the world and, combo and have a good time and fly through it. So we wanted to give players, reasons to go back and revisit the levels or something like that. And at the same time, I think that the ideal to me, the chef's kiss, is I think it's a game where you could 100% the playthrough in one shot. And I'd be curious to see 100% speed runs and stuff like that. So the bonus aspects, as I said before, you can unlock bonus levels, which we call star globes, when you get the showpieces. And then there's also, when you achieve score targets in different levels, you get awarded postcards. And the postcards are little concept art, snapshots, or internal kind of sketches and stuff like that showcase the development process of the game. So I think, as a total package, when you go through the game the first time and you're just playing through the levels and you still get to watch the cutscenes and see the story and experience the characters, and that's just sort of the base level, but then there's deeper ways to engage with the game mechanics that the completionist aspect kind of pushes you into.
Hell yeah, I love that. Obviously that's my entire brand, but I've played a lot of games in my time. People are like, you get the star because it's fun, as opposed to no, this is it gives you a skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Completing the game in this case allows you to really show how good you are from a platforming perspective. And I honestly cannot wait to see people 100% speedrun this game. Just seeing the momentum, it just looks so fun and so crazy.
Oh, I'm very much looking forward to the crazy tech that people are going to be able to pull off in this game. All right, so now we're at the final world that we're going to be showing off. This is Pengoville. So this is the hometown of our cuddly friends, the penguins. And you'll notice immediately that there are some bomping speakers that are just pumping these T-Lopes jams here in the frigid Arctic. And then, we've got some ice. You got your typical slippy ice. You love it. You love some slippy ice.
Penny's eyes while she's on the slippy ice is very funny.
And then, so there's a lot of penguins in this. This is where they live. So they all have a house. This is one of their houses. I'm going to walk on their house. And then, I don't know. The penguins love to party. What can I say? I think that one of the denizens says that, but I may have ran past them already.
I'm also getting Yoshi Islands vibes with all the little I don't know what they're called, sunbursts or paint bursts into the mountains and the hills of this place. It looks really beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. I think this is one of our team's favorite environments in the game.
This is one of my favorite. If you see the rainbow edging and stuff, it was inspired by the bismuth mineral because if you look at it, it makes very geometric rainbow shapes, and we thought it meshed very well with the overall vibe of Penguinville, and also, gave it, like I said, our snow world a colorful twist. And I love the way, the gradients make it look and how it interacts with the lighting.
Oh, look at the water.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
frozen water.
Oh yeah, we got some total
Whoa,
like Winamp
ice?
visualizer water here.
Sorry, Claire, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just was like, whoa.
No, I'm always happy when someone notices the art. So yeah, the water is amazing.
I missed the showpiece here. Hang on, here we go. Yeah, baby. You can ride and skid on or skip across the water. You can do like that.
Whoa.
Got him. Shouldn't have messed with me, man.
You came to their home.
Yeah, I know. I sure did.
Yeah, but they've been harassing you the whole game.
I know.
So if anything, this is what they get.
I mean, why would I come here in the first place?
Yeah, right?
That's actually a plot point, so you'll have to play the game to find out why Penny came into the beast's den here.
It's just for payback.
Yeah. Push them all into walls, I guess.
I love the different enemy varieties that you guys have showcased from world to world, because obviously you have the consistent reminder of, hey, penguins are trying to get you, but you just have like these like robotic ostrich type birds that are just chilling, and they're also rocking out too. They're tapping to the beat of the music.
Oh yeah,
like,
they're all feeling the beat.
This one was a banger.
yeah.
It's infectious. Everyone loves it.
I don't know if they're ostriches or I don't know. They're not penguins. They're some kind of other species of flightless bird.
I think we just called them kickers.
Yeah, we call them kicker birds.
Yeah.
Could be anything you imagine.
Well, they kick as well.
Yeah.
But maybe not everything.
This is a good part. Bam. We
Yo.
got penguin wheels, so the penguins, form together in a wheel. They have very good core strength.
I really like how when Penny was kind of gliding down the rail.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like you guys have been having fun while doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's a big part of Penny's character is she's always putting on a show. And so, when she does the whirl, for example, you see she twirls like a ballerina. Thank you. And then, whenever she's bouncing on a trampoline, she's doing kind of a somersault in the air. She's always trying to find the opportunity to, do a cool trick or strike a pose or something like that. So that's, as a performer, that's a big part of Penny's character.
Yeah. That's actually one thing. The game is kind of themed around like showtime and performance.
Mm-hmm.
What was kind of the idea behind the theming of that?
Yeah, so I think all the people at Eating Star were all, creative-minded type people, and a lot of us have done, played in bands, or maybe we've done theater or something like that. We all have an element of performance in our souls, I think. And so, that sort of fed into this desire to have a character who was very showy, and I think it also... there's a theme of trying to find yourself. Man, I'm just eating it over here. There's a theme of...
You're just a streamer. That's all it is. You're fine.
Yeah. There's a theme of trying to kind of find your place in the world and trying to find yourself, which Penny's trying to do here. And so I think, she's trying her best, and we're all trying our best, and it was something that we could all relate to. And so...
Yeah.
Plus, it's just something that feeds itself into a lot more ideas. And so I think when you're making a game and you're coming up with original stuff, you always want to do certain ideas that are, unlock your ability to create more ideas. And so with the kind of showtime theme, all the major characters in the game have a different facet of showmanship that they sort of showcase. So Penny does yo-yo, Emperor Eddie, he's sort of a classic strongman sort of vibe, and then there's all kinds of other characters who do other performance arts, and so all of the boss fights and stuff are themed around that sort of thing.
That's so cool.
Are we gonna nail it this time?
Are we gonna nail it? Are we gonna nail the first tier Busker bonus? We nailed it. All right. Well, I think that's we're kind of closing in on time. So
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. This was such a pleasure.
Yeah, we hope everybody liked the exclusive first look of Penny's Big Breakaway.
Man, chat has been popping off. It's like, honestly, half the questions I've been asking you guys just because they have been throwing them out, and then everyone's been really excited. How do you guys feel? This is the big moment of everyone seeing it. How do you guys feel right now?
I think that we're just thrilled that everybody's so excited and engaged, and thanks so much everybody for tuning in and asking all these great questions. It's been really fun to show it off and to chat about it with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And as always, guys, you can wishlist the game right now on Steam.
Yes.
And I believe it's coming to Nintendo Switch in the future as well.
Yes, we're going to be on Steam, so you can wishlist it there. We're also going to be on Nintendo Switch, PS5, and Xbox Series S and Series X in early 2024.
Oh my goodness.
So it's coming up soon.